So when I make my dynamic MP Flexion splints, the first thing I start out with is a wrist cock-up. It's just a standard wrist cock-up splint and secured at the wrist and the forearm. Sometimes I'll secure them back across here as well. And then I come down here and I add a D-ring. We stock these for our face masks, but it's just a plastic D-ring and secured with another piece of splinting material and with some solvent and bond. So that's on there pretty good. You can also just use a loop of splinting material if you'd rather, whatever you can that you're gonna have to loop the strap around with. So next thing I do is I take 2-inch neoprene and I cut it vertically down and I bend it back and secure it with a rivet to make a loop. So here we have 2 loops for 2 fingers, and I'll put a piece of Velcro between and stick those loops together. So now we have 2 loops for 2 fingers. Secure them to the patient's fingers. Slide them on there. And you're going to take this, go through your loop down the bottom. Now this is, like I said, neoprene strap, so your dynamic tension comes from pulling that down, getting them in a good place, and then you're just looping it back around and attaching it to itself. So it's a lot simpler for the patient to do on their own, and these straps are generally a lot more comfortable than the ones I've used in the past. But this will take me about 30 minutes to make, rather than 90 minutes with an outrigger. You can add an outrigger here if you need to, but I find that as long as you get the wrist back and extension, you get a good pull down on the fingers, and because the straps are wider and more comfortable, they hold pretty well at the PIP at that first phalanx.